By the way, how much greater is that now that Tiger's won the Masters? No, I mean, seriously. Now that Tiger's won the Masters, you have to watch the U.S. Open. I mean, because he's had the Pebble Beach U.S. Open, the one that he wasn't that Rocco Mediate? They went to extra holes, and oh, Lord. Steven Jackson drafted in the second round. Nobody knew who Steven Jackson was. You're like Fred Van Vliet and Damian Lillard and Steph Curry and all these small college guys. Isn't it amazing? Klay Thompson, Washington State. Kawhi, San Diego State. Damian Lillard, Weber State. Giannis, Greece. The whole league now is a bunch of guys who went to schools. I mean, what do you make of that?
That just goes to show that you don't have to be at a big school or have a big name to make it. You know, your grind, your devotion, your dedication to the sport, your dedication to get better, and your will to want to make it, that'll get you through.
When you came into the NBA, did you know who went to Duke and Kansas in the big schools?
Absolutely not.
You didn't care?
No, because you know, I played the McDonald's game with Kobe Bryant, Tim Thomas, Jermaine O'Neal, Mike Bibby, Richard Hamilton. That was my class. So I had stars in my class. You know what I mean? So and after the McDonald's game, when I played the McDonald's game with all those guys and I led it in scoring, you know, I felt like I belonged.
Sure.
And that gave me the confidence.
Let me talk about Steph Curry. It is fascinating to me that most of us believe Kevin Durant's the better player, but they're like 30-4 when Durant's out and it's just Steph's team. So it tells me, you know, we just always say KD's better. He's not a better ball handler. I don't know if he's a better leader. I mean, there is something to say about Steph. I know he's not the toughest guy or the alpha everybody thinks, but when you're 30-4, if the star player left and your team led by you was 30-4, I'd be like, maybe the 30-4 guy's better than we think.
Right.
What do you make of that?
From a player's look at it, Steph is to the NBA. He's a trendsetter. KD's they're both unicorns. Steph's a trendsetter, and so is KD. We've never seen a 6'11" guy so efficient like KD, shoot like KD, handle the ball. We've never seen that. We've never seen the guy shoot like Steph Curry or make the shots he make, and they both changed the game, so they're both special, and Steph can lead any team. He won a championship without KD, so we have to give him his props for that, and he's still a two-time MVP.
Do you think less of Harden after another series loss?
Yeah, because, you know, I feel like he didn't have that killer instinct at the end of the game.
That's my knock.
Kawhi said it on his press conference. I wanted to leave everything out there. James didn't leave everything out there, and it was obvious. All those threes, all those shots that Golden State kept hitting, it kind of started knocking the wind out of him, and he never was able to bounce back. And if you see at the end of the game, the shots he was missing, it's just not being in the game, not just being locked in, man. I just don't see them winning with playing this style of ball and not having nobody else to help him.
It is interesting. I said this. I always looked at Carmelo Anthony, and I always questioned, is he in great shape? Like your body, D. Wade, LeBron. I'm like, oh, those guys, is it possible James just gets worn out? He has a different body type, that he's just, you can't be that ball-centric in December, January, February. Right. And he's not unraveling. He just sort of vanishes in key spots.
Yeah, I mean, we got to realize he is human, so I'm pretty sure he gets tired. And a lot of those, and that's one thing I don't like about ISO ball. It works to a certain extent. Especially in the playoffs, they lay on you, they lean on you, they bang you, and they take away the things you do often, things you do well. They take away from you a lot in the playoffs. He saw a lot of different combinations on defense, and I think he just got wore down, and those shots, those big shots that the Warriors kept making, that'll knock the wind out you too. And I think he just kind of gave up at the end.
You know, I said earlier, I'm not saying Kawhi Leonard's Michael, but there are moments with his mid-range game that he just comes down, the big hands, the 6'7" body. Stop me. I'm not saying he's Michael, because Kobe's probably the closest thing to him. What do you make of Kawhi's game?
Well, if you're going to compare Kobe, you have to compare Kawhi too, because they have a lot of the same similarities. They're relentless. They play on both ends of the ball. Kawhi might be the best two-way player we've ever seen in a long time, since Scottie Pippen. So, he does a lot of things that MJ, the fadeaway shots, the willingness to know that you had a game 7 and I have to go completely out. If I have to shoot 40 times to win, I will. That's Kobe. That's Jordan. That's the attitude they have. There's no time to lay back. There's no time to leave to leave regrets out there. Kawhi went out there and gave everything he had, from the fadeaways to it all. That's all MJ and Kobe.
Let's say you're Kawhi Leonard. Toronto loves you. It's a real team. It's pretty much a one-man team at times. Would you stay or go? All things in, you're Kawhi. Think about everything. Somebody threw this at me last week. Shoe deal. You make a lot of money in shoe deals in California. It's harder in... What would you do?
Well, the bad part is you get taxed twice. If you play in Toronto, you get taxed here and in Canada on your money.
Right.
That's the bad part off the rip. I don't want to pay 2 taxes.
Right.
Okay? That's the bad part. Second, I mean, it's all about comfort. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing in Toronto if I'm on a winning team, if I'm in a situation where it's beneficial to me and we're winning. But at the same time, he has a lot of options like that. He can come to L.A. and still win and still make a lot of money. He can go to New York. He can go to, he has difference. He can go to Clippers and come and make a lot of money and possibly win. So
I think the shoe story's undersold.
He's with New Balance.
By the way, New Balance in New York feels bigger than New Balance in Toronto. Does it
True.
not?
I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. But if he sells the New Balances like Shannon Sharp had on this morning, he'll sell them. Shannon had on some nice ones this morning.
I went to something that's funny. Portland lived and died yesterday on the mid-range shot.
Yes.
And I get analytics. It qualifies you for the postseason. But once you get to the postseason, I just want guys making shots. When you hear analytics and watch Portland, who just shot mid-range jumpers yesterday, as a player, do you like analytics?
I just want to know what pick analytics got drafted. What quarter, what charge did analytics take? How many times analytics took an elbow to the eye, to the mouth? How many walk-off buzzer beaters has analytics hit? None. So I don't really pay attention to that. I mean, when the reason why he took so many mid-range shots, because they was giving him. He was coming off the pick and roll that was going over the top of the pick and roll, and the big was sagging off. That's the shot you take. You take what the game gives you. You don't make it difficult, and that's what he did. Yeah. Smart play.
It's funny. In the regular season, I'm not saying guys don't play hard, but after 82 games, you got in town late, you had a shoot around at 10, you go to bed, you wake up, you're groggy, you have a piece of fish, you go to the ballpark, you go to the arena.
Yep.
Threes are easier in the regular season. You get to the postseason, and I'm facing Steven Jackson for the 7th time in 2 weeks. I'm running you off that line. You can always get, in this game, to get a great 3 seems easier in the regular season than the postseason.
No question.
Whereas if I can get a 2, Embiid can get a 2 all
anytime.
Day, anytime. And again, maybe there's an analytic that says I'm completely off my rocker, but I do think that there are certain analytics. All analytics are, Stephen, is an average.
Right.
Averages, play the averages in a long regular season. But do you know Houston's #1 in the NBA in the three-point or dunk analytic, and Golden State 17th? Golden State doesn't shoot as many threes as we think. And so part of me, like Friday night, part of me was rooting against Houston and all the flopping and all the analytics.
I hate it, yeah.
I found myself, I'm like, I like Daryl Morey, but I was rooting for the champion. Who are you rooting for Friday?
I'm a Golden State guy. I'm a Golden State guy. I mean, Golden State, out of all the teams I played for and had success with, Golden State is the only team that made me feel like family.
Really?
Yes, the only organization that showed me they appreciate for what I've done.
What do you mean, how?
They bring me back every year. They invite us to games. If anytime we want to come to games or anything to have something, they do something for the We Believe team every year. They bring us back every year and show us they appreciate the time there. So they're family to me. I'm always rooting for. I feel like I'm a part of their family.
That's great.
Yeah.
I was wrong on the Celtics this year. Was there anything that shocked you? I whiffed on the Celtics. I thought they'd turn it around. It's a big fat bowl of Zippo for me. I was terrible. What was the story that surprised you this year?
Well, what people are not saying is, if you know me, I was one of those guys. I praised Brad Stevens.
Right.
He had a bad year this year, and nobody's talking about that. He had a bad year. It wasn't just the players. When a team is not cooperating and everybody's not on the same page, it starts with the coach. And I think he made a mistake of not playing Jaylen Brown as much as he should. Jaylen Brown sat the bench a lot this year. Even when guys were hurt, he came in and played well. And when guys came back, he went right back to the bench. If you look at the Milwaukee series, the game 1. Not only did Kyrie play well, but the main reason they won that game was because of Jaylen Brown played well. They didn't play him as much the rest of the series, and that's why they didn't win that series. I think Brad Stevens, he's a great coach, and I love him. He's definitely going to be a great coach for a long time, but I don't think he did a great job with substitutions this playoffs year.
Yeah. What would you do if you ran the Sixers?
If I ran the Sixers,
Embiid and Simmons don't look like they work to me.
this is what I do. Re-sign Jimmy Butler. Re-sign Tobias Harris. This is what I tell everybody. I would trade Ben Simmons, sign and trade for D'Angelo Russell and one of those guards in Brooklyn.
He's going to give up on Ben Simmons.
Yeah, because when you have a coach that he knows very well, they're both from Australia, and he's not holding him accountable, as a basketball player, it sucks to see an NBA player who's considered one of the top players in the league and he can't shoot. That's disrespectful to the game. And for the coaches not holding him accountable, not even attempting a shot, and you in the NBA, what is that saying to this kid that's in the gym 4 hours a day working on his jump shot? I don't have to shoot. I still can make it. No, you have to shoot. Ben Simmons is being comfortable with his game, and not getting better is not a good look on him.
That's interesting. I like Ben Simmons.
I like him too, but not being able to shoot as a point guard, it really hurts your offense. Especially when you got a big man that gets doubled a lot.
Yeah. Good seeing you.
Glad. Thanks. Always good to be here.
Steven Jackson. Joy with the news.
No.